Hello students, how are you? I hope that you will be fine with your parents and following all the terms and conditions by which you can improve your knowledge as well as you can complete your task. You are taking care of yourself by doing the proper study. Now here in the previous class we have a talk about the how the charges are created on the different kind of the objects where we have discussed how these charges are disposed on the earth. Now here the method by which we can understand the how the charges can be disposed. There is a instrument which used to dispose this kind of the charges by using the electroscope. Now here what happened in case of the electroscope, you can just see here how to make a electroscope by yourself at your home. There is a bottle, and that is a jam bottle, and use jam bottle piece of a cardboard which is a bigger in size. Take a jam bottle and use a cardboard which is a bigger in size than the mouth of that bottle, and means jam bottle. Make a hole in the cardboard so that we can insert a metal paper clip. Here what you have to do, you have to make a hole in cardboard so that you are able to insert a metal paper clip. Now out open out paper clip. Now we cut two strip of aluminum foil of uh, uh, the two strips of aluminum foil. Take aluminum foil and cut it in by dimension of 1 is to 4 centimeter is to 1 centimeter each. Now there are the two strips, and each consists of dimension of 4 centimeters length and 1 centimeter breadth. Now hang them on the paper clip. We insert the paper clip in the cardboard lid perpendicular. Now what you have to do, you have to insert the paper clip and lid in the perpendicular direction. We charge a refill by rubbing with the polythene and touch it. Now what you have to do, you have to take a refill and charge by rubbing the polythene. That take a polythene and rub it the refill, and by this the refill gets charged. Now by use of that charge refill, when you go towards the that uh, paper clip which is hanging in the perpendicular directions, we observe that they repel each other, means the paper clip repel to each other, means they are going far away. Now, when we touch other charge body with the end of the paper clip, the foil strip behave in the same way in the all the cases. Uh, Again, we take an other body, charge body, and if we uh, put that charge body towards the carry that body towards the paper clip, the behaviors are previous one, that is it against the repel to one another. The aluminum foil strip received the same kind of the charge from the charge refill. That means what happened here, the aluminum foils strip receive the same kind of the charge from the charge refill through the paper clip. Metals are, as we know that, since here the aluminum is a metal, and metal are a good conductor of electricity and repel each other, and they become a wide open. So there is a wide opening we can see on the paper clip. Now such a device can be used to test whether an object is carrying charge or not. These kind of the device are basically used to carry whether the object carries a charge or not. This device by which we can understand whether the object is carry any kind of charge or not, then it is called and that kind of the object is basically called as a electroscope. And electroscope is basically detect the charge of the object. Now in the background it is all about this electroscope, and there is another kind of the things which you can see here in the background of this presentation. In this there is a most important concept which is hidden in this background. You can just see here what happened here. There are the this is the place where we can see observe that suppose that this is the earth, and in the earth there are the two areas. One areas where there is a cold airs are blowing, and another areas where is a warm airs are blowing. What happened in the cold area, since temperature is very low, and in the warm area the temperature is very high. What happens, and since some temperature is very high, that means temperature is flowing from warm to the left, means cold area. And because of the that warm air when goes it towards the cold air, it increase the pressure on this area. And the pressure of this area is also transfer from here to here. What happened when this kind of the change take place, and there is a place where there is a low temperature and the high pressure. At that time, wherever there is a high pressure, there will be the rainfall occurs. And with the rainfall occurrence of this rainfall, what happened when these goes up towards the upward direction, you can see with that arrow, these worms air moves towards upward direction. What happened here when these moves upward direction, and the cold airs are coming from here, which carries also not only the air, it also carries the dust particle as well as other things. And when these mixed with these warm air, it goes again upward direction. And when the temperature is as we know that as we move towards the uh, from the earth to the sky, the temperature is high, at the temperature is low. As soon as the temperature is uh, these worms air um, get these worms enter into this kind of the region where there is a temperature is low. The these warm air and vapors which came from the opposite side, they mix together and form a crystal. These crystals are due to the these crystals due to the formation of the kind of the cloud. These moves from high temperature to low temperature. When these motion take place of the cloud in the sky, when they gets rubbed together, there are the number of the skies are formed in the particular area, and these skies clouds are basically rubbed together, and the charges are created on a different kind of the clouds. The what happened here, when the different kind of the clouds get charged, then there are the some charges, then there is some charges, some charges which basically gets then there is some clouds which gets positive charge, and there is a cloud which gets some negative charge. The positive charge carry clouds are floating on the sky, and the negative charge carry is negative charge negative charge carries clouds are floating on the downwards. Now what happened with that, the with the, with that these take place with that the with that the different charge objects are created, means different charge clouds are created, and the since they are floating one another, the negative charge which is down towards the earth side, since again earth has so many metals, because of the presence of the metals, these earth carry basically a positive charge. Now what happened during the storm, or in case of the thunder, these motion of these clouds are heavy, and during that the number of the charges are created by the friction of these clouds are so large. So in case of, if the number of the charges are created on the clouds which is floating on towards the earth, is a negative charge, and that charge is due to the heavy of that charge on the particular kind of the layer, they are get attracted by the earth opposite charge, and with that the destruction or take place due to the lightning. And what happened here, as the formation when the thunderstorms are take place, we have observed that when clouds are basically rubbed together, there is a small strips of lights are created in between the two clouds, and that light strip is basically called a lightning, and during that lightning the also sounds are created, because wherever there is a frictions are created, the loud the due to the large frictions, it also creates the sound. So in this way the lightnings and the means lightning take place in the sky. Here you can see whatever the charges are directly attracted by this earth particles. These things I have already explained. Now here we are talking about the lightning. The lightning is a bright streak of a light during a thunderstorm. As already I have explained the basic concept related to this, how the thunderstorm take place, and during that thunderstorm there is a lightning which came into bright streak during the thunderstorm. The transfer of charges from cloud to clouds, as already told, to the earth is called the lightning. Here the when the charges when the clouds are rubbed together, these charges are transferred, and during this formation of the charges, this lightning take place. In simple words, it is called the lightning is an electrical spark. Means when we talk about the lightning is a electrical spark which happens on a large scale in the sky by vigorous movement, since the at that time when there is a high pressure of air is going on at that time, there is a vigorous movements, and means large motion of air, and due to the large motion of air, the current upward, the flow of the current upward direction, and water droplets towards the downward direction, and because of this creation take place, and because of this the lightning is taking place in the sky. Now there is some story which we have to also understand. These things I have already explained in different way, but you want to understand again which is written here. I am just explaining all these kind of the thing. During the formation of thunderstorm, the air current move upward as already told in the previous. Water drops move downward due to the vigorous movement result in the separation of the charges in the cloud. If this take place already done. From these generated charges, the positive charge accumulate at near and the upper edge of the cloud, as already told that the positive charge are always upward direction on the clouds, and the negative charge which accumulate at near lower edge of the cloud. These things I have already explained why the positive charge are formed, why the negative charge are formed. The scientists are yet to understand the exact reason for this. There is a accumulation of positive charge near the ground. There is a accumulation of positive charge near the ground, as already told in the previous slide. I informed that since there is a number of the metals on the earth surface, and that's why these earth surface considered as a positive charge. These things are written in different ways. Now when we accumulation means collection of the charges become very heavy, means when the positive charge is more on the earth, and negative charge on the clouds which form more, then the air is very bad conductor of electricity, and under the normal environment is no longer able to resist their flow. So in that case, the this and that means not able to control the kind of the situation. In the result, the electric charges transferred to the ground. These whatever the charges are made on the clouds, these charges are transferred to the grounds and produce a streak of a bright light, a streak of a bright light and sound across the sky. This process is called electrical discharge. Means whatever the charges are there, that charges is electrically discharged by the ground charges. These things I have already completed in the previous slide, how these kind of the things happen. Now, the second and most important things which we are talking here is again it is a natural phenomena, and this natural phenomena is when the disturbance take place on the earth crust. Then this kind of the natural phenomena take place, and this natural phenomena is basically called as a earthquake. Earthquake. Earthquake is basically a sudden trembling of the surface of the earth due to the, as already told, that this is the disturbance deep inside the earth crust, as already told. Now, to understand more about this how the earth crust, how the earthquake are take place, then we have to understand the different layers on the earth crust. There is a these are the kind of the structure of the earth crust, and this is the part of the inner core, that is 1300 kilometer away from the surface of the earth, and there is a outer core that is called this part is the outer core, and there is a mantle core, and there is a crust, means upper layer, that is called the earth crust. These consist with the different part of the crust, and that is basically from the surface. If you talk about from the surface, then there is a first surface is known as a crust, second one is known as mantle, third one is outer core, and fourth one is the inner core. Now, if there is a disturbance in inner core, then this kind of the situations are created. Now, this earth crust disturbance is causes a large scale damage of life and property, cannot be predicted. If these things are take place, that cannot be predicted. Now there is a why this earthquake take place on the earth surface. There is a reasons. What is the reason? In this reason there is a talk about earthquake are caused due to the movement or collision of the tectonic plates in the uppermost layer of the earth crust. There is a two layer, one inner layer, upper layer, and mantle layer. And whenever there is a plate called tectonic plate, which we have to already remember. These tectonic plates are basically the uppermost placed place of the layer of the earth crust. And when these tectonic plates got disturbed due to the disturbance on the earth side inner core, then the earthquake take place. The movement of these plates, when we talk about movement of these plates, the earth crust is fragmented, and yes, each such fragment is known as a plate. There is a, when we talk about the movement of plate, what is the plates? Plates is a basically a fragment by which these surface are made, and these fragment is basically known as a plate. These plates are constantly motion. These plates are constantly in motion and sometimes can collapse under another. Um, all the time these plates are moving, but sometimes when these plates are get the disturbed because of the some other reason, then the earthquake basically take place on the surface of the earth. Now here, how we can protect by the lightning. Then these things I already explained in the previous, that you have to not to understand again and again here. Now there is a when we talk about the earth crust, there is a from which point these earth crust are started. When these points are basically known as fault zones, and the fault zone is basically on it is depends on the layer on the earth core. And these cores are, as already explained in the previous slide, that when there is any kind of the disturbance take place in these tectonic plates, and why the tectonic plates are disturbed, because of the there is a fault zone present on the inside the inner core. And these inner core whenever disturbed because of the some different causes, these earthquakes are occur on the earth. Now there is a instruments by which we can measure the power of the earthquake, and that instrument is basically known as reactor scale. By the reactor scale, we can observe the power of the earthquake. These things are you can go through in your these things also mentioned in your book. Also, you can go through these kind of the things. How it is made up of these scale is made up of two magnitude of 2, that is implies the 100 times more destructive energy. This scale is not a linear, that is the increase of 2 in magnitude. That means whenever um, there is a more disturbance occur the due to the different disturbance in earthquake on the tectonic plates, then there is a if the magnitude increase by 2, then it implies 1000 times more destructive energy. Now there is a there is a boundaries of the plate on the earth crust are weak. There is a boundaries of earth crust or weak zone where earthquake are most likely to occur. Means there is a at all the points these earthquake or not occurs. There is a earth crust plate where there is a weak zones occurs, and at the point of the weak zone these earthquakes occur. Where these weak zones are there, that is called a seismic zone, or we call as a fault zone. We consider as a fault zone. These are known as a seismic or fault zone. The power of the earthquake is expressed in terms of magnitude on a scale. As already, this scale is called a Richter scale. The how to measure this power of earthquake? It is measured by Richter scale, and there is a there is a called a seismic waves. There is a called seismic waves. These seismic waves are basically a uh, the kind of the waves which disturb the seismic zone. That is the deeper tremors deep inside the earth produce waves. The high intensive waves which produce in the seismic zone, that is called the seismic waves. These things there is a seismograph by which we can measure the uh, understand the power of the strength of the earthquake. An instrument that record the seismic waves. This the as already told that these motions are take place on the tectonic plates are moving on the earth, and this cannot be observed by a common parameter, but these are the measured by this seismograph, and the waves which we measure um, by these seismographs. Now consist of a vibrating rod. There is a vibrating rod. We can see here. There is a vibrating rod and or pendulum that can start vibrating when the tremors occurs. When there is the time, kind of the different disturbance occurs. If it is not normal, then there is a vibration take place in this vibrating rod, and if this kind of the situation take place, then we can uh, understand the how the earthquakes occurs. Now from these how we can protect by himself. There is a different ways by which we can protect ourselves. That is called the outdoor, and there is an indoor. And in outdoor, find a clear spot away from the overhead line, that is building. And if in a car, then go to the clear spot and stay inside the car till the trimmer stop, till the time uh, when, when till the time you sit inside the car, and close all these windows, and till trimmer stop. Now if you are indoor, means in your house, stay under a table till trimmer stop. Avoid staying near the tail heavy objects. Wherever there is a heavy objects, avoid that place. And structure, how these can be made structural measure in a heavy seismic area buildings must these structures should be made in case of the wherever there is a uh, high faulty zone or seismic zones are there, and use the mud houses with light roof in order to minimize the damage. The fix cupboard and the sleeves onto the wall. During earthquake, some buildings catch fire, therefore must have a proper working firefighting equipment. There should be put on that equipment by which during the firing we can protect from that fires by using the fire extinguishers. So, in case of now in this example, there is a reactor scale as already told. This reactor is still talk about the intensity of the earthquake. The power of earthquake is expressed in terms of magnitude on a scale that is called a reactor scale. Reactor scale was developed in 1935 by Charles Richter and Benno Gantberg, California Institute of Technology. In here, two things you have which you have to remember. Number one is what is the reactor scale? Reactor scale is the kind of the instrument by which we measure the power of the earthquake, intensity of the earthquake, whatever you want to call it. And the reactor scales was developed in 1935 by the scientist name of Charles Reactor and Beno Gantberg of California Institute of Technology. In this scale um, there is a parameter in which there is a 0 to 10 is mentioned by which we can observe on the which parameter this earthquake came. Now in the reactor scale is not a linear scale. On the reactor scale, an increase of the 2 in magnitude, if every time there is a motion are there on the earth, so it provides some kind of the information. But if it is increased by 2 magnitude means 100, then it talk about the 1000 time before more destructive energy. If it is increased by these 2 magnitude in from 0 to 10, then it talk about the 1000 time more destructive energy to before. For example, an earthquake of magnitude of 6 has has thousands time more destructive energy. If it is shows that 6 magnitude on the reactor scale, that means the energy which is flowing in the earth crust is thousands time more destructive energy, and by this the damage or take place. The earthquake can cause immense damage to the building, bridge, and dam. Also, sometimes people can also die during the earthquake, and the earthquake can also cause flood, landslide, and the tsunami also take place during the earthquake. These things have happened. Now, by from how we can protect from the earthquake, there are the different solutions are given for the protection of our life, for the protection of the building. The building should be designed in such a way that that they are withstand major tremors, so that these buildings can protect from the thousands of thousands times of the energy. Concerned a qualified for that we have to take a consultation with the good architectures by which we protect our house. The use of mud and timber, these kind of the house are very useful during the where there is a fault zone or seismic zones are there, and there is a cupboard and slips should be fixed on the wall so that they reduce the energy whenever these kind of the conditions are arises. People should be careful where you hang wall clock. If there is a wall clock during that time, that should not be there, otherwise they are destroy or damage our life. The photo frame, water heaters, these should be not mm, at a particular position, so that during the earthquake they do not fall on the people. By this, we can protect our life and buildings. These things I have already discussed. So it is all about the natural phenomena. There are some another way I will explain during the class, but how the electroscopes are made, as already told. In this way, the electroscopes are made. There is a electroscope, as already you can see, and the use of that electroscope, if there is a similar kind of the charge, will that come together, come towards the this electroscope, that charge directly transferred to the these two is foil strip, and because of when the both the plates are the similar kind of the charge carry, then it talk about the same, means repulsion take place because of the like charges. So it is all about the natural phenomena I have discussed, in which again I am just giving you the detailed summary about this chapter, where what is natural phenomena, types of the natural phenomena, how these natural phenomena occurs, basic concept of related this, and how the charges are created on the object, and that things is also we you have to understand how the electroscopes are made. That is you have to also understand there is a concept like a thunderstorm, and after the thunderstorm there is a concept like lightning, we have to understand. Again after that, the layer of the different earth crust, there, that is the outer layer, mental layer, and inner layer. After that, there is a seismic zone which we have to understand. Why these seismic zones are created? There is a epi point, that is called the focus point from where these things are started. These kinds of the energies, high energies are started, and there is a scale which is called a reactor scale, by which we measure the earthquake and the intensity of the earthquake. There is another kind of the uh, instrument by which we measure basically a seismic waves. So it is all about this natural phenomena. Very very important chapter for you people. So it is all about the today's. We will have the last chapter, that is called the 18th chapter. We will discuss in the next classes. Till the time, you enjoy with the study and with your healthy and wealthy parents. Thank you for today.